So there we have it, guys. The first two teams to be knocked out in the knockout stages are Argentina, well, Messi, and Portugal, well, Ronaldo. I feel kind of stupid saying that because it's not true. It's not a one-man team. Yes, they may be the two best players in the world, arguably, right now. But unfortunately, they cannot carry their nations to victory like they can with their clubs at times. So I've already recorded a match review of the game earlier on between France and Argentina. So if you want to go ahead and watch that, I'd appreciate it. But of course, now this evening we've had Uruguay versus Portugal and it's finished 2-1 to Uruguay, which isn't what I was expecting. I'm not going to lie. I know they're very good defensively and I know they've got some very good players going forward with Suarez and Cavani up front. Cavani, for me, unbelievable tonight. World-class finishing. He's one of those players that for me doesn't look like he's doing much and then suddenly appears with 2 goals just like he did. And tonight they dominated the game for the majority of the match, I would say, but there were times where Portugal, having Ronaldo on the pitch and Quaresma when he came on and some really big, strong players in their team, Pepe, William, I hate Pepe by the way, but William Carvalho, I'm a big fan of him, he looks really good. I expected Portugal to at least come away having been close to winning the game, and that's just not the case. To me at least, it felt like and it looked like Portugal were chasing most of the game. I think that Uruguay really showed they're a bit of a dark horse for the tournament. They could genuinely win this competition if they play like they did tonight, where they're really effective and efficient on the break and when attacking, and just super strong at the back. When you've got Godin, Jimenez, a partnership that flourishes at club level with Atletico Madrid. I know they don't play together every game. They've got some other defenders and sometimes Jimenez plays as a right back, whatever. But you can just see that they're so good together. It's like they've been playing all of their careers together. And I know obviously Godin's 30s and Jimenez is still relatively young. But you'd think they've still got a couple of years together and they're only going to get better. Maybe not Godin, but he'll lose a little bit of pace but gain more experience and intelligence. And that's what I think Godin is so good at. His experience and his intelligence of just knowing where to be negates the fact that he may not be the quickest. It's just unbelievable to watch Uruguay defend as a unit. And they have a certain player in midfield that sits in front of them that I'm honestly so excited to talk about once again. And that is, of course, Torreira. He's an Arsenal player. He is. It's happened. It's not official, but he has been sold by Sampdoria for 30 million euros, confirmed by the president of the club and his dad, and basically his brother, I think it was, in an interview said that it's gone through. They won't say it's to Arsenal, but that there has been a club that's come and offered that money, and it has been accepted. Everyone knows it's Arsenal, but Torreira himself, and I believe maybe Sampdoria a little bit, and maybe Uruguay as well, probably didn't want that deal to be announced just yet because Torreira said he really wants to focus on the World Cup. That's his main priority at the moment, and then he'll settle in and announce the deal with Arsenal when the time's right, and that apparently will be July the 1st, but I doubt it very much because that's tomorrow. I would be expecting it to be at the end of the tournament. However, Socrates, apparently that deal will be announced tomorrow because it's the end of his contract at Dortmund and it works. So yeah, we should be seeing Socrates officially represented tomorrow. He'll be wearing the red shirt, I'm sure, but Torreira not just yet, and he was stunning tonight. There's some things I'm not 100% sure on with him. I feel like I don't know if it's because he's South American or maybe it's because he's been playing in the Italian league, but he does seem to go down a little bit easily, and I think that sure, he's quite a short player. He's not going to be the strongest. He does get battled to the floor quite a lot, but there's a lot of rolling, and I don't want to say he dived. I don't want to say there's any diving from him, but I could see him being one of those players which is very dramatic, and I'm not a fan of that. I like players to be honest, but if he wins us a couple of penalties by going down a little bit easily, as long as there was contact, of course. I don't want him diving, but maybe we kind of need that. So that's like an area of the game that I hope isn't the case and that he'll grow out of because he is so young. And coming to the Premier League, it's going to be more physical. It's going to be more demanding. There's going to be tackles flying in a lot harder than he has seen ever before. It's a very competitive league, and players will say, especially when they've retired, that the Premier League is one of the hardest they've played in. But what I love about this guy, he just does not stop running. I don't know the stats, but I bet you he's up there as one of the players that's ran the most tonight. And single-handedly, at times it looked at least, he stopped Portugal breaking through the lines. He's everywhere. A lot of people think he's very similar to Kante. I would agree. I think, Kante, it looks like there's two of him on the pitch because he's down the right side defending, then suddenly he's appearing on the left, then he's running forward. He's just everywhere. Torreira is very similar like that, but I actually think there's a bit more to Torreira's game. And I'm not saying that, of course, he's better than Kante, because he's not. Kante is one of the best at what he does. He's arguably the best defensive midfielder in the world, I would say. But what Torreira has, I think that maybe Kante doesn't, is a bit more of a progressive attitude to football. He wants to get the ball forward. It's not about picking the ball up and just hoofing it. I've seen on multiple occasions where he receives the ball or he tackles the ball back and he looks straight up for a striker. Or he'll play it out on the wings. With Kante, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just an opinion of mine that's wrong completely. He is more just get that ball no matter what and square it to another midfielder or someone close by. Just lay it off for someone else to deal with it. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, by the way. I just think Torreira, there's potential for him to be more of a box-to-box than a defensive midfielder. He's got a great shot on him. We've seen in the highlight videos on YouTube how good he is going forward as well. So a very exciting signing for the future, I think, for Arsenal fans. And I cannot wait to see him in the red shirt. It's hopefully not too long away. Anyway, quick word on Cavani. Really, really fantastic game. I think he's definitely within a shout to catch up with Harry Kane, especially with Ronaldo going out, to win the Golden Boot. I actually think Cavani is in very good form right now. Wouldn't surprise me if he bags a couple more goals in this tournament, should Uruguay continue. I think that France might just knock them out though, but he'll score against them. That would be my prediction. And also a quick word on Suarez, because there was two moments in this game which it's just totally Suarez. 1 minute he's passing the ball to Cavani with a beautiful cross. Pirlo would have been proud. One of the best crosses, whatever you want to call it, of the tournament so far, where Cavani's able just to head it in with his nose, it looked like. He has got a bit of a big nose. But that side, Suarez, fantastic, one of the world's best players, right? And then there's the moment where the theatrics, the drama of him rolling around on the floor, grasping his head even though nothing happened to it. It's just so frustrating. I hate that. I wish Suarez didn't do that, but unfortunately, that's part of him. And I've said this before. Love him as a player, hate him as a person. Absolutely cannot stand him as a person. I've never met the guy, but what I mean is his attitude, the way he's such a dramatic, theatrical guy. He bites people. He's racist. He's an arsehole, basically, but a quality player. But that shouldn't mean anything. He's still an arsehole. Similar to Pepe, actually. Let's talk about Pepe. He came up with a goal today, and when he scored, I was like, oh, it just had to be him, didn't it? It had to be Pepe. And I thought at that point that they'd probably go on to win the game. So that's why I was almost a bit sad, because I really dislike Pepe. He's one of the worst. He's actually worse than Suarez, I think, when it comes to being dramatic, falling to the floor, rolling around. We saw against Morocco, I think it was. Yeah, it was Morocco, because Benatia patted him on the back. Very much like a bit of a solid one, but you could see it was a bit of an audible slap. You would feel it, and he just flops to the ground and starts complaining that he's being punched or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, Pepe can retire, and I will never, ever, 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 ever have to see him again playing football, because I'd love that very much. But what about Ronaldo? What do I think happened to Ronaldo tonight? It was a mixture of things. I think Ronaldo has so much pressure on him from the nation, knowing that the Portugal side isn't half as good as it is without him. He has to be playing at his best to even have a chance of taking the team through with him. I know it sounds awful, but it is true. He carries that team massively, and he could not do anything tonight against that Uruguay defence. There were multiple times where I think he should have released it, maybe passed it. Instead, he's shooting from 40 yards because he doesn't trust his teammates to do anything with the ball. You can see he gets very frustrated when he crosses it in and no one's there. When he misplaces a pass, which is quite literally his own fault, he gets angry because a player wasn't there. I despise that, but I get it. When you're so much better than everyone else on your team, it probably must be, well, it is very frustrating, I'm sure. And he'll be absolutely gutted that he's not Spanish, where he could have won the World Cup a couple of years back, or if he was Brazilian, he might have a better chance, Unfortunately, mate, you were born in Portugal and you've had to deal with Portugal players. But the thing is, he's won the European Championship with Portugal, and that's great. He can take that to his grave. But unfortunately, he's not going to win the World Cup. I'm pretty sure that'll be it. And I don't know, because he's such a good athlete, he could probably play in the next World Cup and he'll look just as good. You know, he's not going to age. He might lose a fraction of his pace, but he's so well kept. He's very fit. He probably will be at the next World Cup, but I'm not so sure. It might not happen, but it could. I think it's a similar thing with Messi. I think after today, the disappointment is going to be harsh on them, and I think they're both going to say that's it now. That's what I think anyway. I think if Ronaldo wants to really extend his career all the way to 40, as he's said before, it might be the safest option to stop playing for his nation, because it's extra stress on the body, isn't it? But for a guy who wants to win everything and be the best, he will probably try and continue to play. So ultimately, guys, 2 games down now in the knockout stages, and 2 big teams have collapsed, haven't they? They really have. Argentina gone, Portugal gone, and we will see next week France versus Uruguay. I'm really looking forward to that one. Leave a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe as well, guys, and I will see you next time.